I'm David Smith. I'm a partner and I head the property litigation team in our London office.
Hi, my name is Phil Hind. I'm a partner in the property litigation department at JMW in London.
The way I felt about the King's Speech is there was quite a lot of stuff in there covering quite a broad range of crime and all kinds of other areas, but there were two bills that are obviously very property focused, both of course about residential tenancies, but in the residential tenancy space covering all the angles of the residential tenancy space in the sense that they covered long lease and short residential tenancies.
Yeah, and both probably welcome news for leaseholders and for tenants.
Sure.
Question is whether it's gone far enough for tenants particularly. I don't know whether we want to discuss the leasehold reform first or whether we discuss the renters reform.
Well, let's do the leasehold reform because that's new.
Yeah.
In a new sense, and all of it was leaked beforehand. But
yeah.
But I think that there are obvious big ticket items, which is the end of the concept of the freehold house, which was
bizarre anyway.
A bit unreasonable and a fairly obvious attempt to make money.
Yes.
We've already sort of done stuff in removing ground rents, but that seems to be potentially being not just be for new ground rents, but for all ground rents seem to be look like they're going to be zeroed out at some level and reduced to a peppercorn. So that will be helpful for some people, and it resolves a side issue, which is that a number of ground rents, of course, were getting up to levels where they've got sucked into the Housing Act 88, which was
creating tenancies.
Yeah, created short
ASTs.
Residential tenancies effectively, and you had this very confusing scenario where you didn't really know what people had.
Yeah, that was causing problems for lenders.
It certainly made
and
lenders
holding
situation.
up a lot of transactions where ended up having to draft deeds of variation to make changes in order to satisfy lenders so those transactions could go through. So that will remove that issue potentially and speed up transactions, which will be welcome news. Other things, extensions.
We were just talking about this. This is, in a sense, really bad for lawyers, actually, thinking about it. But leasehold, anyone who's looking for a leasehold extension won't be getting a 90-year extension. They will be getting a 990-year extension, which essentially means that it's a one-and-done operation. You get your extension and you won't see it again, never mind for your own lifetime, but for your
children,
your children, your great-grandchildren might be starting to worry about it, but certainly not before then.
Yeah, so if you have a business, as you say, which is predominantly modelled on dealing with lease extensions, once everybody's gone out and got their lease extensions, probably within the next 2 to 5 years, once this is passed,
it's a rarity.
Yeah, it's going to come to an end.
Yeah, so there'll be a group of lawyers and surveyors who are primarily focused on the lease extension business. Who won't have a business going forward, but it's not the government's job to make jobs for lawyers, and there you are.
And even on the lease extensions that are going to be coming up once the law's passed, surveyors aren't going to have to be dealing with assessing marriage value, because that's also abolished.
Yeah, so marriage value seems to go, although the government's numbers don't seem to be quite right there around their examples, and I think we need to wait and see what comes forward. The one thing that I have noticed, which I've already had seen a couple of hints of, which I think people should be very cautious of, is that there seem to be one or two sneaky freeholders getting out there now making what appear to be fab offers to people to extend leases or buy their freeholds, and they're not fab offers if you work on the assumption that this bill will become an act. They're not fab offers because people can get lease extensions for effectively forever.
For a much reduced
for very little money indeed, and I've seen freeholders trying to, and I think there will be freeholders who will try to get their last hurrah and make unjustified sale or extension offers just to get a bit more money in, which is unfortunate that they might choose to take that view, but there won't be much that can be done about it after the fact, and people should be very cautious about what look like wildly amazing offers to extend leases or buy freeholds that are not going to be wildly amazing offers if this legislation passes. And we should be clear that the Labour Party has also said, Angela Rayner said it was her intention to fix leaseholds within the first 100 days of coming into office, which seems ambitious.
Very
But
ambitious.
but the very worst they could do presumably would be to reheat a piece of legislation that had already been worked on and push it through anyway with minor amendments. And so this bill is likely to become an act, whoever passes it and wherever an election falls. If Labour, especially if Labour were very keen to keep to their deadline, the obvious thing to do would be to pick this back up, stuff it back in and finish it.
Yeah.
And make it happen, and then perhaps come back to leasehold in the fullness of time.
I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.